That's hard.
Okay. So I got my big brother, Maurice Ager, as my latest guest on Inside The NeighborWood. This is my 10th episode, so this is a kind of a milestone for me. So definitely want to bring on someone who's been a part of my journey, who I spent some time with. So I just want to thank you for taking the time. I know we've been going back and forth the last week or two, but we finally made it happen. So appreciate you coming on, bro.
You already know, man. It's always gonna be love this way, Brody. And happy to see you doing your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Expanded, you know what I'm saying? Getting your voice heard. And I like the logo, man. You know what I'm saying? It's dope because it kind of like, it reminds you of the Inside the NBA. So people kind of already see it as something that's familiar. So that's pretty cool, man. That's good marketing, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we so I dropped the podcast the end of this past May. And I had been sitting on the logo for like 2 or 3 years. So I kind of just been sitting on it and just kind of waiting to see, when was just letting the time come to us, so it was the right time. And, but yeah, that was definitely my plan. My idea was to kind of mold it after that Inside the NBA, just to stick to that branding. So yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I said, for the listeners, tonight's guest, my guy, Maurice Ager. Just to get started, my platform has been to bring on different people who are a part of my network, who I've had different relationships with throughout the years, and give them a chance to share their story and share their perspective and the wisdom that they've developed over the years, kind of combine it with mine, throughout the conversation and just chop it up and try to make a difference like we try to do on a daily basis. So first off, bro, if you could just introduce yourself and maybe tell us where you came from and a little bit of the beginning of your journey as we move forward.
I am Ager. I'm from the gutter. First and foremost, I know I'm just playing. No, man. My name is Maurice Ager, man, aka Mo Ager, man. Born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, west side of Detroit. Played college ball at Michigan State. Was a high school All-American, but ended up going to Michigan State, and going on up there and played 4 years at Tom Izzo, had a wonderful time at Michigan State, man. It was one of the best times of my life, of course. Always going to be, my heart is always going to be, on that East Lansing campus, in many ways. But yeah, man, so I did my thing at Michigan State, played on the 19 and under USA basketball team. Me and Paul Davis actually played on that squad. We had a pretty good team. I led us to a Final Four, along with some other great guys on our squad as well, and we lost to the national champs that year, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. But in 2 years at Michigan State, I led us in scoring. My junior year, I think I was maybe top 5 in the Big Ten, maybe 3 or 4, something like that. Led the Big Ten in scoring my senior year, and was a first round draft pick to the Dallas Mavericks. And I've been, at it ever since, man, and played 5 years professionally, 3 different teams, Dallas Mavericks, Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Nets, and, retired it in 2010, 2011 season with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I really went on my journey from that point, man. I discovered, a lot of things for myself. Well, I'm sure we're going to tap into it, musically, really getting out there, getting on the speaking circuit, outreach work, so it's been a journey, man, and it's been a great one. Thanks for having me, man. We'll go tap in.
Yes, sir. No, for sure, man. Appreciate that, man. And just to take it back, how was it growing up in Detroit? Throughout the years, I've, had quite a few friends who were born and raised in Detroit. I'm sure, you being from there, quite a few friends and family, there in Detroit. So how was it growing up in Detroit? We hear things and, we perceive things in different ways, but, being from there, born and raised, how was that, bro?
Man, looking back, man, I was talking to one of my homies, Blood, yesterday, and just being born in the 80s, I got a good 6 years in the 80s, but the 90s was like so golden, bro. Just kind of looking back at those years, it was really nostalgic, just to think about how life was at that time, man. I believe that the 90s was some of the best years, bro, just because of the human connection that we had at that time. I feel like we had to really connect with each other. We had to get on the phone and holler at each other. We had to meet up. And just to kind of look back, like, damn, like, how was we linking up without navigation, without text messages? And we just somehow we did. And I feel like those years was rich, man. And just growing up in Detroit, just it was tough, but I didn't realize how tough it was until I actually got out of it. You know what I'm saying? And look back at it as a bird eye view, like, oh snap, that was actually a really challenging scenario that we got out of. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of the toughness, the soulfulness, the joy, all of that stuff was, through, struggle. You dig what I'm saying? In Detroit, was a beautiful place. I think some of the more, I would say, dysfunctional things that the world started hearing about, that came on a little bit later. My childhood was fairly safe. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood, but that was around a time where people in the neighborhood really looked out for each other, man. They wouldn't, they wouldn't mess with the kids or anything like that, man. They knew that the kids was off limits. Cats did their thing in the neighborhood, but it was enough for me to know that I wanted to create a better circumstance for my mom. But ultimately, man, it was my love, bro. It was always my love for music, my love for basketball. It was my love to, continue to grow as an individual, man. I always had a certain ambition in me that pushed me to want to do great things in life. And coming from certain circumstances in life, it'll help you do it. And I think my mom, when I was maybe 11, 12 years old, she would take us to like middle class areas, places like Southfield, Oak Park, and we got a chance to see like, oh, like, damn, there's better life. You know what I'm saying? We go swimming, in the hood, we ain't got no swimming pools. So it's like, we got a chance to go and do different things. My mom showed me areas of prosperity at a very young age, and it gave me something to aim for.
Yeah, and that's important, just to experience those different areas, different demographics, and different classes. So I know that definitely had a great impact on yourself and myself as well. So obviously, I know music was your first love. Basketball, second love. Sports in general. But tell me about the time when I want to hear about the time when that seed was sowed for music and when that seed was sowed for the game of basketball. Like, what was your earliest memory as far as like feeling that love for music, and what was your earliest memory feeling that love for the game?
I was born with music, man. That was something that was actually born in me, man. That seed was already, set in stone, you know what I'm saying? Because I tell the story all the time, man. My mom was already in music. My dad was, he was in a band. And, it was pretty much in my blood. I just remember my mom giving me keyboards at a very young age. I'm just banging on keyboards when I'm 4 or 5 years old. Put me in the glee club when I was in 3rd grade, always banging music around the house. And so it was always something that I found joy in, especially when I was with the homies. You know what I'm saying? We'd be in the basement writing rhymes, you know what I'm saying? Just coming up with cool stuff. But, just being from Motown, man, it's such a soulful place, especially when it comes, we all know the history of music there. So it was I was actually fully immersed in music, man, and and that was just a natural thing for me. Basketball came along around the neighborhood, 6, 7 years old. Yeah, in Detroit, bro, we played everything. You know what I'm saying? Well, not everything. We didn't play no baseball. Well, we did play baseball. We played baseball with a tennis ball, though. You know what I'm saying? And we were not, you know what I'm saying? In order to get people out, you can hit them with a tennis ball, but. We used to play pick them up, mess them up. That was like football when everybody throw the ball up, you know what I'm saying? Grab it, to get it, yo. You know what it is. And that's we used to call it something else, but
that's what I was just thinking. I was like, we used to call that something else, but we ain't gonna take it there.
Yeah, you know what it is. So but like, we were just athletic, bro. So it's like, basketball was something that I gravitated to. Like when I was like, this is a lot easier to play. I started putting up the crates in the backyard and the alleys, and hooping became a thing for us, And honestly, I really got into, I want to say, organized basketball once my sister, her boyfriend Antoine, which is my brother-in-law, you know what I'm saying? He introduced me to like professional basketball, like. So I started seeing what the Pistons was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh snap! So it's actually levels to. There's professionals in it. So it's like he introduced me to that whole world, going through the college ranks, you know what I'm saying? And Michigan State, Michigan, so I started seeing that stuff early on. And then I didn't start playing organized basketball until I was like maybe 11, 12 years old. But up until that point, I was outside with it, you know what I'm saying, hooping with the homies. And great raw talent, dog, and just raw athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
Yeah.
we flipped on mattresses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We flipped off of houses. We did a lot of things athletically. So, you know, I was just I just moved into that space of basketball. You know.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned we were just outside with it and how things have changed these days. You know, all these kids are working with trainers and working with coaches and having practices, you know, to where I feel like we were from the generation, even though I'm a little younger than you, like you said, we was outside with it. We was out playing
Yeah.
on the go outside. We was out in the field playing football, out in the field playing baseball. You know, we was even playing soccer, you know, or just riding bikes, you know, just hanging out. You know, what do you see any differences? I mean, because you have your youth program and you work with kids. Obviously, you're in a different continent, different country than where
Yeah.
we're from, you know. So what's your perspective on that? You know, just the difference of how we were raised being outside with it and how
Yeah.
they in the gym with it.
Yeah, and that goes back to your initial question when you asked me about like, you know, what it was like growing up in Detroit. And I was just like, just the 90s, bro. It was just a time and place where we didn't need a whole lot of motivation for us to just be ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We knew what we wanted to do. We went outside and we did it. And if we had opportunities to do it at a higher level, we did it. So
Yeah.
it was more so we were self-motivated and self-inspired to actually get out there and make ourselves better. There was no trainers like that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously we had the big homies, you know, throw us the rock and stuff like that, but it wasn't really a lot of drills going on. It wasn't a lot of drill work.
Mhm.
So I would say that that's the biggest difference, bro. I just think that we were self-motivated. We didn't need a lot in order for us to want to get better. You know what I'm saying? These kids nowadays, they got a lot to look at. They have a lot to pull from. And quite
Mhm.
frankly, we the ones that's training them now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We the lineage that's putting them through these different trainers, and that's why they're becoming so great because of um not necessarily what we didn't have, but what we kind of picked up on later on when we went to college and played
Mhm.
professional. We were like, okay, then we became a lot more organized in our trainings and stuff like that. So we took that same, you know, that same model, and you know, we started doing it with our younger generation. And
Mhm.
you know, I feel like we got into training a lot more once I got in high school. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't um as popular as it is now because like right now, I think it's kind of um sometimes it can be a bit corny, you know what I'm saying, when you see different trainers doing the most, you know what I'm saying, things that won't even translate into the game. And
Yeah.
somehow they find a way to kind of make it look a certain way just to be able to get these parents to be like, oh my gosh, he's doing certain things. And it's not translatable. So
Mhm.
I think those were the challenges, you know, being well, just working with kids and stuff like that because they feel like that's what they need to hop into because they on what you may call which was that TikTok and Instagram, seeing all of these coaches doing the most,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
you showing them like, okay, we're gonna start with the basics.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because you don't even know how to make a layup yet. You don't even know how to dribble with your left hand yet. You can't even
Yeah.
go through your legs. So
Yeah.
I feel like we live in a microwave society. You know what I'm saying? They want things fast. They want things quick. And I feel like it's making it very difficult for them to develop at
Mm.
times. Even
Yeah.
though that they might be naturally more skilled than our
Yeah.
generation at times. But
Yeah.
you know, there's still levels to,
Mhm.
you know, development. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can't skip no steps, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely agree. You know, and I believe that there's a fine line between, like you say, doing the most and being innovative. You know,
Yeah.
me personally, I believe like 2017, I was fresh off of back surgery, and I started working with a trainer who I refer to as my trainer. His name is Vaughn Compton, one of the best trainers in the whole country, and back in America, especially on the West Coast. And he introduced me to the what I would say is the new space of training. The stuff that isn't always received well, by people who are from older generations. So
Mhm.
I understand that some trainers, I've definitely seen videos. We've seen videos where trainers are, just doing extra and putting
Yeah.
kids in harm's way, but I do believe and I have learned that, it's on us and the older generations to have an open mind to know that, the game is progressing, moves
Yeah.
are different, the footwork is more noticed and recognized and available to be able to be taught in different ways, along with the ball placement. So that's one thing I've learned. Thankfully I'm still playing, so I was still able to like evolve with the game and where the game has evolved.
Yeah.
But I've also noticed that there are trainers who like are judging trainers that are just being innovative and challenging our minds, you know. So what do you think about that?
I think I feel like innovation is very important. I would never ever, like, you know what I'm saying, downplay the importance of innovation. You know what I'm saying? I'm huge on evolving and evolution. That's in all aspects, whether it's basketball, mentally, spiritually, in every aspect, psychologically. I believe to each his own for sure. But I do I think there should be a fine line between clickbait and, you know, and actually, you know, actually having a real heart for it. I feel like a lot of people do this for looks on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, versus how they're really going to help people, you know. And I get it, it's a business at this point, you know what I'm saying? It's a huge business, especially, you know, around on different parts of America, man. I mean, I have friends that's in that field right now, and it's quite competitive. So you know, you have to come up with creative ways to get an edge, I guess, business wise, you know what I'm saying, for you to actually create customers and stuff like that, if you're looking at it from a business standpoint. But if you're actually looking at it from a standpoint of really having a genuine heart and wanting to really help, you know, help the youth and help young adults get better, I believe there's always going to be some type of fine line between that. You know what I'm saying? And I believe it's very important that you figure out a way to, you know, be strategic and be innovative, but at the same time still have your heart into it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like all of those things are important. And I think another thing that I feel like I struggled with early on, not as much now, but, you know, here's some things I struggled with when I was doing training in like in America, when I lived in America. It was parents actually choosing guys who didn't play at a high level over me. You dig what I'm saying? Like guys who may have played, you know, junior varsity, but just because they can figure out a way to, you know, lull the parents in, you know what I'm saying, they would actually get more looks. And like I said, I can't be mad at that, but you know what I'm saying? It was always a thing. I'm like, okay, are they qualified? And then I found myself actually having to look. I'm like, damn, I'm actually overqualified, but it's like I'm not getting the same looks. You know what I'm saying? So it was always adjustments to be made, but I feel like that was a thing that I actually struggled with a long time ago.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure, bro. Appreciate you sharing that. So you said about 11 or 12, you started taking the game seriously. What was it like playing in high school in Detroit, and then as you began getting those looks with the colleges, you know, and that started to come along, you know, how was your high school playing days?
Now, high school PSL, man, public school league was one of the most. It prepared me for the Big Ten, actually, just because you know, we got a bunch of guys in the city, man, they hungry, man, and just talking about that hunger and that true drive and stuff. Like, man, playing against some of these dudes in the PSL was very, very, very challenging, man, because, you know, nothing came easy, man. Even your worst teams in the PSL, you know, they was coming out, you know, they took pride in locking up the greatest players. You know what I'm saying? It was always a pride thing in the city. So you had to bring your A game every single night. You know, we had different people who were naysayers. You know, it was kind of like the movie Above the Rim, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, you had people on the sideline going crazy. You might have the drug dealers over there. You might have the, you know what I'm saying, you know, it went down, you know what I'm saying? You had to get the gang. So it was hold on one second. It was always cracking, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like it really prepared me because of just the toughness, the mental toughness you have to have out there in the city was something that, you know, I translated right over to the Big Ten. You know, and but it was fun. It was fun moving up in the ranks. You know, it was guys ranked above me as a freshman, you know, being able to use that as motivation to become the best player I can be, and ultimately, you know, strive to be the best player in the state, in the city and in the state. So that was a journey, but nonetheless, man, you know, having Coach Izzo and all of these guys coming out to the hood was kind of cool to see, you know, and having coaches, you know, I'm sure you know what it's like to actually be recruited, man, getting that first letter, you know what I'm saying? I watched Hoop Dreams growing up, you know what I'm saying? So to kind of see that and be like, oh shit, that was kind of like a mesmerizing thing. Like, I can't wait to get my first letter, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, recruiting is so much different now, man. I be seeing guys who do things on, you know, they go to recruiting visits. Now they got like mock visits where they had like to put on a jersey. Like, hey, why do I look
jersey? They got the shoes. They got everything.
Yeah, but it's like they're not committed there, but they're like showing you what they might look like to the fans. So it's all a marketing
Yeah,
ploy. So it's a lot
yeah,
different now, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
yeah, bro. It was fun though.
yeah. So so who were like your top schools as as it came time to make that decision?
Missouri, I actually committed to Missouri. I
Mhm,
committed to Mizzou, but I ended up pulling out of that. You know what I'm saying? My mom wasn't feeling it.
mhm.
Um,
Was
you know,
that your junior year or senior year you committed?
yeah, going into my senior year.
Going into
Yeah.
the same.
So yeah, I ended up pulling out of Missouri. Ended up being a good decision. But I really liked Marquette at the time, man. Marquette was cool. It was between Marquette, Missouri, and Michigan State. And Michigan kind of slid in there, you know what I'm saying? Traditionally, coming from Michigan, bro, Michigan was always one of those places where we kind of looked up to,
Mhm,
with Jalen Rose and all those guys, C-Web, 5-5. So yeah, so it ended up going down to Michigan State, Izzo, Magic Johnson, they came in and said the right things to my mom, you know what I'm saying? Won her over. So,
yeah, yeah.
and that's kind of how that went.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So as you got to know Coach Izzo, obviously to this point, I'm sure he's played a big part in your life then and then, throughout your journey. So as you got to know him, what really caught your attention with Coach as you started building that relationship with him headed into your years at Michigan State.
Honestly, bro, one of the things that grabbed my attention for one is the guards were going to the NBA. That was the big thing. I'm like, yo, his guards are going to the NBA. He had guys like Charlie Bell. Charlie Bell ended up making it to the NBA. Mateen Cleaves, Mo Pete. Guys were going, Jason Richardson. So those were the things that we kind of looked at. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we wanted to go to college to make it to the NBA, and
Mhm.
you know, and the fact that those guys were winning, and I knew that I would get better as a player overall at Michigan State. I had my doubts about a few things, but nonetheless, I went to Michigan State and I turned it out. You know what I'm saying? It ended up being a great deal for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? As soon as high school was over, as soon as I graduated from high school, man, I went right up to Michigan State.
Mhm.
Like maybe a month early before I was even supposed to be there. And that was one of the stories, man. I was there during I forgot what they call it. What was that, like Death Week or something like that? Or
Okay.
what week? Yeah, when Bork used to kill guys, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was up there as you know,
yeah,
it was during spring break. I was there,
yeah.
really getting it in and letting people know that I was serious about coming in there and doing my thing. But yeah,
That's That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, I mean, for me as I entered into college, I went to Southern Illinois first, and I was just coming off of shoulder surgery. So I got shoulder surgery right after my senior season. So I had to obviously rehab. I didn't get any summer workouts, any summer individuals leading into my freshman year. So obviously being a young man, body still growing, body still developing, that was a key point that I missed, So for you, like you said, you went there early. What was that? How did you receive the different workload as you went into becoming a college athlete compared to a high school athlete? How was that transition for you?
that's crazy. It's funny you said individuals. Nah, that's a word I haven't heard in a long time. Are they
Individuals.
still using that term in terms of training?
I don't even know, bro. I'm 10, 11 years out now myself.
Yeah, individuals. So see, that's what we got now. It's like training. But nah, man. You know what? I think for me, Mike Vork, he gave me the Michigan State workout plan. You know what I'm saying? He put it in the folder for me. So like as far as like the weight training, I started doing it before I went to state.
Mhm,
So when I got there, I was kind of already tapped
mhm,
into it. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? But once I got there, man, I really learned the level of intensity I had to come with. I think I already had a level of toughness and heart that, like, what I'm saying, I was able to kind of blend in and get it done. But I feel like, my first year I was actually injured, I had a stress fracture in my left foot. So I was pretty much out like the first, I want to say, let's say preseason before Big Ten. You know what I'm saying? I probably got a couple games in before Big Ten. My first game was against Kentucky. And I came back. We played them in Rupp. You know what I'm saying? We actually won. I
mhm,
actually played pretty solid that game, first college game. But
mhm,
it was actually the speed of the game. The speed of the game definitely was it wasn't as much as the intensity. I feel like I kind of, like I said, the Big Ten was similar to the PSL in many ways, except hold on one second.
Mhm.
It was similar in many ways because of the toughness and the grit, but it was more so the speed, picking up on these plays, the play actions and stuff like that. Those are the things that I kind of struggled with early on at Michigan State, because you already know we got a gazillion plays, you know what I'm saying? And a bunch of action, side out of bounds. So I had to really get used to that. And then, defensively, I had to get used to, just how we were playing defense. So it was all a adjustment at that point.
Yeah. So you said and that's crazy that, our stories kind of relate, and the fact how our first year went. So I had a stress fracture in my left ankle that was, I mentioned that I didn't get to train in the summer. I come into the fall, I'm able to start doing stuff. So like, they were just overworking us, and, again, there's a fine line with that overworking and doing too much, and not being, not listening to your players, so they were pushing that boundary, which, you look back and it showed that was the beginning of like really understanding how to test your limits, because like they pushed you past your limits, so unfortunately they pushed me so far past my limits that I got a stress fracture in my leg. Like you, my first game I had 15, so I would have went on to had a good season, as a freshman.
Yeah.
But fortunately I got to medical redshirt, and then
Right.
got that 5th year on the back end to where I became a Spartan. So it kind of it worked out in my favor, But how was that dealing with that injury, entering into your first year? Were you able to come back during the season, or how was that?
Yeah, I came back. I actually had a pretty decent freshman year. Like I said, we played Kentucky, and then I think I had like maybe 9 points a game. Maybe, yeah, I think it was roughly 9. And that's when I found out how racist they were in Kentucky, bro.
Oh man.
We played rough. Yeah, those guys, I'm like, damn, like y'all actually racist towards us, but y'all rooting for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But and then I think we played like Oklahoma. I went, I did my thing against them, bro. I hit some big shots. But it ended up being a great year overall, bro. But I actually came out around this time, like around the Big Ten tournament, March Madness, my freshman year, bro. You know what I'm saying? I started doing my thing, you know what I'm saying? I had some shining moments during the regular season, but once again, my body was still getting used to just the physicality. So I wasn't all the way, I wasn't as strong as I needed to be in order to be able to, like, I only think I had like two, I think I had like maybe 2 dunks my freshman year.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And, that's kind of crazy because, I was jumping out the gym, but the fact that I didn't have the strength is, one of the reasons why I wasn't yamming out like I could have. But eventually that came around. But but yeah, that freshman year was a fun year. It was one to remember. We actually went to the Elite Eight. I did my thing against Florida, did my thing against Colorado. Played pretty good against Texas, Maryland. But we actually lost. We lost to Texas in the Elite Eight. And so going into the summer, I was very, very, very excited just because, I just had a great tournament. Got invited to play on the USA basketball team, 19 and under, did my thing in that. And leading up to the sophomore year, there was some more challenges, man. I ended up getting hurt my sophomore year too. So that's a whole nother story too.
How was that playing for the U19 USA team?
It was dope because that was my first time going out the country, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Where'd y'all go?
We went to Athens, Greece, what I'm saying, for a little stop. We headed over to Thessaloniki, Greece. And I think we spent like one night in Germany. So it was like, it was a good experience to be able to just get out the country and just see what that's like. And that's when I knew, I'm like, I like this overseas thing, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it got planted in me early, you know what I'm saying? Just being able to see different experience. As a teenager, I was 19, so yeah, it was dope, bro. Playing with, Darren Williams, D. Brown,
Nice.
Paul Davis was on that team, Ryan Hollins, C.J. Watson, Mustafa Shakur, a few other guys, but it was dope. Greece was fun, bro.
I had the opportunity when I was 19 as well to go overseas for the first time. I got to go to Poland and to Germany. So it was with a group, maybe you're familiar, Athletes in Action.
Yeah.
So like
That's a Christian
kind
group,
of like
right? On campus.
what's that?
Isn't that like the Christian group on campus?
Yeah. So I had so after I left Southern Illinois, I went to JUCO for a year. Could have went straight to another Division 1, but that would have been like 2 straight years of sitting out. We ain't had no portal
Yeah.
back then, so that's when we had to sit out a year.
Bro, yeah. Things
So
have
ended up,
changed so much, man.
yeah, definitely. So I ended up going JUCO for a year, and then I committed to Valparaiso. Homer Drew, Bryce Drew, and Valparaiso before my JUCO season even began.
Right.
And they kind of told me their non-conference schedule at North Carolina, at Michigan State. We had a tournament in Vegas, so before they came to like my first open gym at my JUCO before the season even began, and I committed before the season even started. So like it gave me a chance to get that confidence back, get that love for the game back, so that was definitely a pivotal moment in my journey. So yeah, I want you to expand on that first trip to Europe. Obviously we're well traveled to this day. We've both been to several different countries, but that first trip for me, it was special in a variety of different ways, being exposed to that different culture, just being able to immerse yourself in the history of different cultures.
Yeah.
It was special being on a different time zone, it was special, seeing different styles of play in different countries.
Yep.
So how was that experience for you, and what that experience mean to you?
I feel like just looking at that time, I was like, I just feel like my faith was being tested a lot, you know what I'm saying? Just being out the country, away from, you know what I'm saying, not really going to church and stuff at that time. So it was kind of like, it was different for me because I was so used to going to church every Sunday, Bible study every Wednesday. So it's like I had to like kind of adjust to not having that for a while, you know what I'm saying? So it was different, you know what I'm saying? So even at a young age, you're really trying to fight temptation. You're trying to stay away from certain things, alcohol, and the whole rundown. So
Yeah.
I feel like those things were that was something that I actually was like actually fighting at that time, you know what I'm saying? So just being young, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, bro. You're 19,
Yeah.
20 years old, you're out there, out the country. But I remember the food slapping. I remember the style of play was a lot different, those FIBA rules. So that was something I had to get used to. I did really well in I want to say the pre-qualified, and then I played pretty cool, so I think I averaged like 8, 9 points. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I could have did, but I didn't shoot the ball that well from 3. I feel like that was the one thing that I didn't do as well. And when I was out there. But before that, I was shooting the ball pretty well. But when I got out there, I just didn't shoot the ball as well from the 3. But yeah, it changed my perspective, bro. And it just let me know that okay, I'm actually real. I'm one of the best players in college basketball in terms of the next generation, people that got a chance to. This around the time when guys were still going 3 years, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And you had your mellows and stuff like that, but it was more so. It was still around the time where college was the way, because around that time is when they actually cut off the high school. You know what I'm saying? When guys, so it gave me confidence because I felt like the guys that we went over there with were going to be the first round draft picks and stuff like that. So it gave me a lot of confidence going into my sophomore year, for sure.
Nice. So headed into your junior and senior year, obviously a lot of Spartan Nation are going to see this interview. What are a few moments from your final 2 years when you really broke out and had your best seasons and gave you and positioned yourself to, become an NBA draft pick and fulfill your ultimate childhood dream? What were a few moments in your final 2 years where, you knew that, you were in a pretty good position?
Yeah, it's crazy because coming out of my sophomore year, I played, I want to say half of my sophomore year with a hernia. Like I had a hernia, like I had a sports hernia, I had like on both sides, bro. So it's like I played with a fractured ankle, and a lot of people didn't know I was actually hurt. So I struggled a lot my sophomore year just because of those 2 injuries, bro. It was major. So going into that my junior year, I actually had surgery, and I actually went up to Wisconsin, had the surgery put in, you know what I'm saying, on the mesh put in my stomach. So I pretty much took the whole summer off, bro. Like I was off for like four months going into my junior year. So I just used that whole summer, worked on music with my cousin in Detroit. And then, I came back, right before, I want to say maybe a month before school started or something like that. You know, I just was working out every single day, bro. And you know, all of a sudden I just feel like after having that surgery, my game just went to a whole nother level, bro. And I felt stronger. Yeah, I felt better. And then I just knew in my mind, bro, I was like, yeah, this is about to be it. Like I just know I'm about to really have a breakout year, bro. And that's exactly what happened, dog. Because you know, I feel like that surgery, bro. I feel like that was something that was lingering for a couple years.
Mm,
And I was just talking about like not feeling as strong as I needed to. I believe that shit was a something that actually led up to it being as bad as it became.
yeah.
It became very
You
bad, bro.
you just really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, it was like my abdominal was always weak, bro. And you need that to,
Yeah.
and, you know what I'm saying? So I believe that actually happened over time, bro. And it wasn't just something that happened in my sophomore year. I believe it started my freshman year, wear and tear, and not necessarily in boom. And then so once I fixed that, bro, it was on and popping, bro. It was on and popping, dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, I felt more comfortable with the offense. Coach Izzo felt more comfortable with me. You know what I'm saying? He trusted me a lot more. You know, I settled myself down a lot to play within the system because you know at times I was a one-on-one player. You know, so I had to learn how to really play within that. You know, the construct of the Michigan State system, bro. And once I got that, bro, started running those lanes. You know what I'm saying? Shannon on one wing, me on the other wing, bro, and it became a magical moment, man. It was funny because I was one of my homies actually tagged me into a post and it said and it had like some of the most dynamic duels in college history. And they didn't even have me and Shannon on there. At first, I was like, damn, that's kind of. I almost got like disappointed at first, and then you know I came to my senses. But
Mhm.
I feel like me and Shannon were like we were a movement. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you know he gave me confidence. We gave each other confidence. So it was one of those things. It was like we didn't even have to talk about it, bro. We just knew what it was. And
Mhm.
definitely going into that senior year, man. That Maui game that set the tone. One of the greatest games in the history of college basketball to this day.
Mhm.
And you know, just getting before that, you know, going to the Final Four, bro. That tournament run was amazing, bro.
Mhm.
Duke and Kentucky in one weekend, bro. Has never
Mhm.
been done to this day.
Mhm.
Um, I did my thing during that tournament. You
Mhm.
know, led the team in scoring against North Carolina as we took a loss, had like 25, but we lost. But you know, North Carolina, you know, they went on ahead, took care of their business. They had like 9 first-round draft picks or something like that. You
Yeah.
know? And I
Yeah.
still think we could have won that game if Allen Anderson wasn't hurt. And I said to this day, Allen Anderson Bay, you know what I'm saying? If he wasn't hurt, I feel like we would have won. That's just my opinion. But nonetheless, dog, you know, Izzo convinced me to come back for my senior year because my junior year, I actually thought about getting out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And keeping it pushing. But I'm glad I came back because I loved college, bro. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? As much as I love the basketball and the program, I loved being a college student, bro. I really enjoyed that. You know what I'm
That
saying?
was that was one of the next things I was going to mention. I heard in one of your recent interviews that you mentioned that you enjoy being a college student just as much as you did being a college athlete.
Yeah,
So you know, I wouldn't say I didn't mind being a college student, you know, because I was already always, you know, naturally um, just gifted in the classroom. You know, I never really had to put in a lot of effort. You know, I
right.
was able to, you know, bust stuff out last minute, you know, do my best work last minute.
Yeah,
But, you know, I definitely enjoyed being a college student, you know, but um, I look back, you know, being years removed now and being in my learning journey as an adult, you know, you definitely, I know I think back and I'm like, man, I'm curious. I wonder what it's like just to be a college student, you know,
yeah,
without playing sports, you know, and just to be able
right,
to really focus on learning, you know, and understanding and understanding history and you know just understanding stuff that we really weren't taught, you know, in school growing up, or necessarily it
right.
might not necessarily been time for us to be taught that, you know, but just thinking back, like, man, I wonder what it's like just to be a college student, you know. So with you saying that you enjoy being a student just as much as you did enjoy being a basketball player, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, because I was always into other stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, obviously music was one of those things. So I wanted to experience what it was like to, you know, be involved with the, you know, the Black Caucus, to be involved with the events that was at the the student halls and all these different places and stuff like that. So it was just, it's thinking about it now, it just has a real nostalgic feel to it. You know what I'm saying? Going to the rap battles, you dig, and the cafeteria, bro. Like the cafeteria was the littest times, bro. Like I used the cafeteria surf. So I'd be in Case Hall, Hubbard, Brody, Wilson, at Mason. I was moving around, bro. You know what I'm saying? And tapping in like that, man. And the Saturday morning games, we play football. I leave the football game early, head over to the Case Caf, you know what I'm saying, build with the students, you know what I'm saying, and then just have the rest of the day to chill, get on some music, you know what I'm saying, do some dorm surfing. Dorm surfing was A1, you know what I'm saying? I was random with it. Like, it was good, what's going on here? Introduce myself to the chicks, you know what I'm saying? Get some Easy Mac, some fruit snacks and stuff like that. You guys want to watch a movie? You know what I'm saying? Instant Messenger was popping at that time where you get that IM.
You remember used to have the special login sounds for different people?
Yeah.
You used to be waiting to hear that one.
You always waited for that one. He was like, ooh, he online was goody. 2 on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got your little away messages saved.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I don't know if it's the old, like, how we always grew up. We always had the old person like, man, back in my day, I feel like I'm at that stage now, bro. When I'm looking back at some of the things that was in the 90s and just like Instant Messenger, bro, that was like, that's how we got at them. That's how we was getting our rocks off, bro. And it's fun thinking about it now because it was Instant Messenger. I'm sorry, it was IG before IG.
Yeah. Then it was like, remember, it was like you had like the AOL Instant Messenger too, and you had the AIM. So like the AOL came with the login. You used to have to listen. You used to take up the phone line. Man, get off the phone, get off the line. I gotta make a call.
Yeah, exactly, bro. That was a form of communication. Late nights. You know what I'm saying? The house parties. Like I said, we used to have freestyle sessions. Man, yeah, it was a blast, bro.
Yeah. So one of my favorite times of being a Spartan and playing basketball there at Michigan State. Obviously, I was only there for 1 year, so the whole year was just every day, every moment was just new experience and new ways of moving, dealing with new coaches and being at a university such as Michigan State and playing for the Michigan State Spartans. Coming from being a mid-major player, being a JUCO player, it was like a whole new ball game. So one of my favorite things was, and I want you to share your experience with this. One of my favorite things was, having a road game, getting a big win on the road. We jump on the jet back to campus. We land. We already cleaned up. We land. We got our jumpsuits on. We get back to the crib and turn on ESPN. And we damn near beat the highlights home, so we just got a big win, 2, 3 hour, 4 hour flight away. We get back to the crib, we chilling at the crib, we turn on ESPN, we see our highlights, before we head out to the bar, head out to the club, explain, those moments, bro. That shit was fun, bro.
I'm gonna give you both sides. I'm gonna start with the dark moment first. Like, if we say we play Friday night, we lose to Wisconsin or something, we already know we in the film room till 4 or 5 in the morning. That was brutal. But it was always dope. Like, if you got back, like I said, we played like on a Sunday, early game on a Sunday. Illinois played like, we never beat Illinois. But if we beat Indiana or somebody, and then we get back to Michigan State at like 6, 7 o'clock, you catch some highlights for sure. But you already know you was at, I don't know about you, but we go to Rick's.
That's what's in my mind. That's what I'm envisioning right now. Cause I used to, man, my little brother, your little brother, Keith, obviously going through his whole experience, man, sometimes, we go through certain things and, certain things are meant to come our way, regardless of how unfortunate they are. And despite the circumstances that other people who are involved are in, or, but man, my vision is, we'd be on the road, get back. Keith was my guy. I used to be with Keith and Knicks, so
Yeah,
we'd
yeah,
get back, pull up to their spot, be chilling, doing our thing, watch the highlights. Boy, first stop was to Rick's, so man,
yeah.
I remember and I'm telling you, bro, I was only there 1 year, so this was all new to me, bro.
Right.
Y'all got multiple years, obviously your freshman
That's true.
year, when you were probably under the age, so it's kind of hard to move kind of how you wanted to. But man,
Yeah,
I remember we used to get off the road, be hanging out, go to Rick's, and we were of age at the time, so I
yeah,
remember, they would put us in a little booth, and it was man, people would just be sent through. It was they were just sent through, guys, girls, just sent through to
mhm,
meet us, introduce themselves, meet us, new drinks, meet a new
yeah.
person, another drink, so that was,
Everything. Stocks,
man,
drink.
that time those moments were so fun, bro.
Man, they named the drink after me, bro.
Uh, what was it? What was in it?
Man, Ager bombs, bro.
Ager.
Yeah, that was the Jägermeister with the
Ager.
yeah, and they came up with that idea when I was like a freshman, sophomore, or something like that. So every time I shoot a three and make a three, boom, they take a Jägermeister, a Jaeger bomb. They start calling them Ager bombs.
Ager
And
bomb.
I wasn't even at the time. I didn't start drinking until I was like 21. So I used to I dip into the bar every now and then. They be like, "Hey man, Ager bomb, you got me shit drunk last night, man." They have the t-shirts on. I'm like, all right. Now I wish we had the NIL deals then.
Yeah.
Boys would be
Got
good
a
right
little
now.
buck off them. You got a buck off all them drinks.
Come
Couple
on,
bucks.
bro. I'm just saying, my brand was cracking at that time in terms of just what it could have been if I'd had, but yeah, so yeah, it was fun, man. The house parties was fun. Can't forget about Chandler's Crossing, going out to Dover's Crossing, the pool parties. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And then we messed around and hit up Minna's after the late night, you know what I'm saying? The Minna's joint, the Minna's raps. Ooh.
When I was just back there for the grind week and for Day-Day's Hall of Fame induction, man,
They still
they don't even got it no
Minna's?
more.
Ooh, that's dirty.
Yeah,
It ain't the
I was
same.
walking past. I was looking forward to it.
I remember one time when I was in a league, came back to Michigan State like in the summer, bro. I got wasted. You know what I'm saying? I got so wasted, bro. I actually went to Minna's and went behind and started cooking for everybody, man.
I could see that.
I was making raps. I'm
They're
like,
probably loving it. I know they was loving it.
Chicken Buffalo Boy. I was back there cooking them up, rapping them for at least 20 minutes. They're like, all right, Mr. You have to, all right, thanks a lot. You know what I'm saying? But this was before IGs, like I'm saying, like certain moments like that, it would have been viral, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad I lived in the era than I did, you know what I'm saying? Only thing I missed out on was the NIL.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. So 2006, 28th draft pick of the NBA draft.
Yeah.
What was your first thoughts?
Man, I did it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a lot going through my mind, you know. In my head, I thought I was going to be at least a mid first round pick, you know what I'm saying, mid to late lottery. So to sit there in that green room as long as I did was extremely nerve wracking. But to finally get my name called on the 28th pick, man, was a blessing, man. I just broke down, bro. It was a blessing, man. Gave thanks, you know what I'm saying, to the Most High, my moms, and anybody that was actually involved in my process of getting there, man. So it was dope to go shake Dave Stern's hands, shout out to David Stern. And, yeah, bro, it was unreal, bro. But it was definitely nerve wracking because I thought I was about to go in the second round, bro, and it was like, I was really nervous about that, man. So yeah, but Izzo actually called my phone, but I didn't get the message. He actually called me and told me like, "Hey, you about to get drafted to the Dallas Mavericks, buddy." I heard the message like later on. That's back when I had like a sidekick.
Oh,
Sidekicks. Yes.
So you became a Maverick. Share how that initial experience was, training camp, the vets on your team, Mark Cuban, share a little bit about that first experience in the league.
It was epic, bro. It was epic. It was a wonderful experience, man. I actually went out to Dallas the very next day. Met with Donnie Nelson, and you guys were cool. Gallo, great guys, man. As far as the vets, Jerry Stackhouse was always one of my favorite Josh Howard is my brother to this day. He's one of the realest dudes, I play with in as far as the professional world of basketball, man. Just a real straight up dude. Stayed the same through the ups to downs, man. A lot of guys, they switch up with you. They switch up on you once you just, how it is when you're not in, what they say, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind, something like that. But, it was good to, build a relationship with, Sagana Job, Pops Mensah Bonsu, JJ Barrera. These are guys who I consider to be friends to this day. And and Dirk was awesome, man. So it was just amazing, man. I felt welcome. Dallas actually became second home for me. Even to this day, my mother still lives in Texas, Dallas. Well, she stayed in maybe like 20, 30 minutes outside of Dallas. But the Southern hospitality, man, it was a beautiful thing, man, to go down there and play for the Mavericks just because of the love was so abundant, bro. So I always appreciate Dallas for the love that they showed me. The training camps was it wasn't even as tough as Michigan State's, you know what I'm saying? But it was
prepared for that.
Yeah, I was prepared, but once again, it was still the speed, you know what I'm saying? You look at the NBA game, it might not look as fast, but like it's a lot faster than you think. Like once you get out there playing against high level players, you know what I'm saying? Everybody nice, you know what I'm saying? Even your guys at the end of the bench are nice. And obviously the strength, was on a different level because now you're playing with and against grown men. So I had a pretty good training camp. I had a pretty solid preseason as well. But it was difficult. You know what I'm saying? My first 4 or 5 games, I was inactive. I had to get used to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe at that time only 13 could suit up. So having to be, man, that was a huge adjustment for me. And just not playing, early on. And finally get my opportunities here and there, spot minutes, and then, trying to make the best out of them whenever you got them. But it was a huge adjustment. I do feel like it could have been. I ain't gonna say it could have been something. I mean, obviously, looking back in life, you can always say you would have made different choices, but things worked out the way they did, and I'm happy that I'm happy where I'm at now. But I'm actually grateful that I played for a guy like Mark Cuban because I'm still cool with him to this day.
Nice. Yeah, that's. I know that's one of those relationships that like I heard you speak on before. You've been able to reach out to him and bounce off ideas with him and seek guidance and advice from him. So that's it's special to have a relationship like that for sure.
Definitely.
So before we move on from the hoop talk and move off the court, do you have like a welcome to the NBA moment that you could share, whether it's on the court or off the court? Actually, I want one of each. Welcome to the NBA moment of on the court, and a welcome to the NBA moment with involvement of like the access, and the off the court opportunities.
Man, that's a tough one because I really don't have any like crazy stories on the court in terms of just hoopers being hoopers, bro. Like it was.
You get the guard like Kobe. You get the guard Kobe.
Yeah. Kobe was cool. Like there wasn't even Kobe was cool. I do remember who was that? Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas talking a lot. He talked a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was one of those people who was like I thought he was quiet. Yeah, I thought he was kind of quiet, but yeah, he was talking hella-ish, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of crazy though, to think about it. I definitely remember going like, you know what I mean, playing like my first 2 or 3 games. No, I say my first 2 games I didn't score. You know what I'm saying? I think I got like I don't remember, like a few minutes, but I didn't score a point. You know what I'm saying? And I finally got some points against the Memphis Grizzlies. I think I had like 6, 7, something like that in a few minutes. But yeah, I feel like off the court was definitely something that I could really expound on just because of some mistakes I made. You know what I'm saying? I remember coming in drunk. And you know what I'm saying? And Coach Avery really putting me through it. Like he put me and JJ Barrera. I think we both did. I think JJ was doing his thing. I came in and he made us run, bro. JJ started throwing up. And, it was almost like we was in high school again. The way they actually made us get down. And but as far as like some of the things that they made us do as rookies, well, for 2 years actually, because my second year we didn't have a rookie, so we had to get the Popeyes every road trip. So whenever we get on the plane, you know what I'm saying, me and JJ, somebody had to go pick up the Popeyes, and you know what I'm saying. 2 or 3 big boxes, biscuits, you know what I'm saying, spicy, original thighs, and chicken breast, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of unhealthy stuff, you know what I'm saying, and we had to bring that to the plane every single away game.
Wow.
But I had some good veterans, bro. They never hazed me. They always had respect for me, man. I feel like they respected me just because of where I was from. You know what I'm saying? I was never fearless. I always went at those guys. So it was always a mutual respect. So I never really got hazed. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have any hazing stories. But yeah, I feel like that was probably the worst thing, man. We had cool guys, man. They weren't really on that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So you have your Mo Ager, the youth enrichment, Mo Ager Hoop School.
Yeah.
So tell me how that originated, you know, and obviously you're still doing work within that, within your personal brand. So tell us a little bit about Mo Ager Hoop School.
Yeah, honestly, hoop school came after I left the league. I left the league in 2011, and I wasn't really. I kind of just distanced myself from basketball for a few years. You know what I'm saying? A couple years actually, because I was really just focusing on music, focusing on life outside of basketball, just learning how to live life and outside of basketball, bro. It's one of those things where you have to learn. You know what I'm saying? In order to make that happen. So it was a huge adjustment. But more than anything else, I loved the freedom that I had. You know what I'm saying? I fell in love with the freedom. I fell in love with being able to do the things when I wanted to and not be tied down to certain team practices. I just enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? So I actually distanced myself from basketball in that way. You know what I'm saying? I would watch it here and there. But you know, eventually I slowly started to, you know, bring myself back around the game in terms of working with youngsters. You know what I'm saying? Like I started getting invited to speak and, you know, go to different camps and help out and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, I actually like doing this. I actually like working with kids. I actually like working with, you know, mentorship programs and doing things of that nature. So it got to a point where I actually started acquiring about it. You know, I started hitting people up like, hey, if you need a speaker, let me know. If you need somebody to come help you with your camp, let me know. And then it got to a point where nobody was actually interested in bringing me in. And then one of my friends, Stephanie Harris, shout out to her. She's a former Michigan State alumni as well. She was like, hey, why don't you start your own program? I'm like, she like, I think she called it the hoop school too. She like, why don't you start your own hoop school? And then I was like, oh, Ager hoop school. And, you know, and I was always one of those self-sufficient people to where it's like, if I couldn't get an opportunity, you know, I will always create it. You know what I'm saying? I did that with my music production program. I did that with my AAU team back when I was 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get a look, man. I was doing my thing, but nobody wanted to bring me on. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get on the AAU circuit, calling different coaches, calling players, like put me on, and nobody was giving me a chance. So at 15 years old, I made my own AAU team called Michigan Titans. I grabbed 8 to 9 guys who wasn't getting no looks either, but they was nice. Created a team. So fast forward, you know what I'm saying, musically, you know, I wasn't really getting no looks like that. So I created Morgan Production. Boom. And then same thing happened with the hoop stuff and trying to get on the speaking scene. And, you know, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start the Morgan Hoop School. And at that point, I partnered up with a few guys, my old partners and stuff like that. And we got the ball rolling, got the LLC to it. And yeah, man, it's great. It's been popping ever since, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. I know, obviously being a young boy and following y'all, you know, your journey started at Michigan State, you know, then into the league, you know, and like kind of you referred to earlier, you know, just we have their attention, you play in the NBA, you know, you play with all these players, you played against these players, you played at Michigan State, you know, so, you know, it's good to be able to, you know, give back what the game has given to us, you know, so
sure.
much respect towards that, bro, for sure.
Sure. Yeah. Service was always, my mom taught me that early on, man, you know, to serve others. You know, I was always doing different things. Even when I was in the league, you know, we had the NBA care stuff like that. I was actually cool with that. You know, I was actually on board for it. You know, guys couldn't stand doing that type of work, but I actually always enjoy working with young kids and stuff like that. I got a kick out of that. And like I said, my mom taught me at an early age to give back, to serve others, to share. You know, so it wasn't a tough deal for me to transition into that phase of my life in terms of, you know, helping out the youngsters, and young adults, and I still do it to this day.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Much respect, man. So transitioning into the music for a minute. So obviously you said that the music was born in you, you grew up, rapping, singing with the instruments, and then you find yourself, producing for other artists, fellow artists who are in the
Yeah.
industry, producing your own music and, finding yourself in the studio and just in those circles, to where you became a Grammy nominated producer. So share
Yeah.
that journey, and man, that's inspiring, bro. That's very inspiring. So share that journey.
Yeah, I think production started just from high school, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying, being not able to find beats, you know what I'm saying, because I was rapping, you know what I'm saying, making songs and stuff like that. I'm over here rapping off of other people's beats. And it's at this around the time where you just wasn't about to go on YouTube and, snatch
Yeah.
somebody's beats, or
Yeah.
it just was beats were just it just wasn't available like that, bro. And once again, I still feel like the 90s were the golden ages, bro, the golden years, because of the levels that we had to go to in order to get the things we needed to get done. It's
Mhm.
so much people can pull from now. Like, it's no excuses why you don't or can't do whatever you love doing. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
have so much more access. And
Mhm.
I'm happy I grew up during a period in time where you had to be really resourceful. So
Mhm.
beats for me was very hard to come by. So I would actually take an old, like a Eminem track, right? And it'd be like maybe 20 seconds at the end of the track where it's like no vocals. So I
Mhm.
would take the last little snippet of that, grab one radio with one blank tape, and then I would play the last 20 seconds, record it on one tape so I can record the beat. And then I use that to actually record my vocals into it. Like, and then I would loop that as many times as damn, yeah, that was crazy how I did that. But
Uh,
I was actually looping tape, and then I would like play it back to back, back to back, back to back, record it, stop it, and record it at the same part. And so it was like I was learning how to produce for
uh,
real, for real. That was actually a level of producing and sampling.
yeah, didn't
So
even realize it. Yeah.
I didn't even realize it, bro. Then I started like dibbling dabbling in beats. I'm like, yo, whoa, that shit opened up a whole world for me.
Yeah.
Making beats changed my life, bro. You know what I'm saying? I
Uh,
feel like I'm so happy I learned to make beats, bro. That was like, it's to this day, producing is one of the most um, gratifying things I've ever done in this world, just because it really just symbolizes everything, just production, putting things together, grabbing that sound, putting it up with this sound, you know what I'm saying, making this melody, coming up with these lyrics, and then just creating something from nothing.
mhm.
And and that's kind of how I operate everything that I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
with the music, um, that I actually allow my music to actually support my clothing line. My clothing line supports my basketball, the basketball.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm actually a producer in terms of how I bring things together and make
Mhm.
everything coincide, and everything that I'm doing, they all coexist. So
Mhm.
for a while, I was just actually focused on production, saying, doing beats for a lot of kids at school. And it got to a point where it's like, I want to say once I got, maybe into my mid 20s, then I started dibbling back into rap. And then, yeah, man, it all came together. And then 2010, that's when I did the Michigan State Forevermore Spartan song. I collaborated with my guy, Crimson and Black Gentleman, one of the dopest rappers ever that come out of Detroit, Michigan. So shout out to him. And
Mhm.
I shot him the beat. He came up with the concept for Evermore Spartan, which is pretty much legendary to this day, in my opinion. And that was that was my biggest project to date. I don't say that to date, but that was my biggest project. You know what I'm saying? That's 2010. That's when I created the Morgan Productions. So that was like the biggest release I had during that time. And then came out with the Motown project in 2013, and I got the Grammy nomination for a song. That was all God. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't even on the song, wasn't on the radio. It was nothing in terms of as far as what you may call recognition at that time. Especially, that was a time where you had to have songs on the radio in order to get some type of praise or accolades, and I had none of that. But
Mhm.
nonetheless, I still got some type of consideration for a song that wasn't even popular. But
Mhm.
somehow the Grammy committee, it was rocking with the concept. And so it was actually considered for best rap collaborations at that time. Me, my guy Jay Peso, my boy, my brother LP, Handshake LP, and, my boy G Curtis was on that song. And just fast forward, just like I said, find myself in the studio with guys like Game, Dr. Dre, Big Sean, working with guys like Royce the 5'9", working with guys like E40, Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, movie placements, BET. I did BET when I was in college, actually. So that was actually interesting. And I got paid for it after I got out of college. Because remember, we couldn't get paid in college, right? You know, so it is what it is. NBC Sports, Volkswagen. Man, it's just Eric Thomas, who's another Michigan State alumni, I produced on 2 of his albums.
Mm.
I produced Toby Nwigwe's first 2 albums. He's doing his thing now. He's extremely popular. So shout out to him, man. I'm really proud of him and his progress and how far he's come. Now I have my new album out called Ager Show Premieres. It's a dope album. I'm really proud of this project. You know what I'm saying? It's out now on Bandcamp. I'm sure we'll be able to share some of this stuff later on. But nonetheless, the musical journey has been amazing. It's taken me different places mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. And, music is everything to me. And I'm going to do it until I can't anymore.
Yeah, for sure, bro, for sure, man. That's love, man. That's amazing. So kind of to expand a little bit, take it back, but expand a little bit on the music journey. So I really didn't grow up in like a music household, I remember my earliest days, of living, because I lived on the East Coast. So I grew up like Philadelphia, New Jersey. So I remember like running in and out the door, with the old R&B playing, the 80s, the 90s R&B. My parents listened to all that. So I remember those days when I kind of like developed that essence, of myself, So fast forward to high school, to where I'm back in Kokomo, in my hometown, in the hood with my guys, in the studio, just I wasn't the one in the booth then or doing any producing then, but I just loved the environment. I love being in there, sitting in the room, listening to my guys go in and out the booth, listen to them producing the music and, on the Fruity Loops or on the different programs, producing the music, and I was always like kind of captivated by it, although I never did any music myself, and then kind of like fast forward later on in my journey, became a little bit more aware as far as how to articulate myself, and then kind of like understood myself and my journey and the lifestyle I've been fortunate enough to live, and then doing writing, so then I kind of like, I forget exactly when, I was on like a few freestyles, not actual freestyles, but like a few beats with my guys back then in high school. But now fast forward, like I even find like a passion in music as well myself, and I've done some I probably did like 8 or 10 tracks of my own, just never no original tracks, but just like jumping on different beats and writing the different beats, so I kind of see how like it kind of came full circle for myself, when I never had a ear, like I would say I had an ear for music, I feel like the music that catches my attention like are pretty smooth, well-rounded tracks, but never would have imagined potentially one day taking it serious, and I feel like, just with never putting limits on myself, I feel like I have prepared a plan if I want to go into music, like it's already prepared and planned, I feel like it's realistic, so I say all that to say, how was it, growing up, being in the studio, what were those times like, when you were further developing that love and that passion and, not even maybe realizing how serious that one day you would take it, how are those times just back at the hood, sitting in the studio with your boys, chilling, doing your thing? What were those times like?
It's crazy because early on, we wasn't really in the studio as much. We was like on a, my boys might have keyboards, you know what I'm saying? So we'd be in a hallway at an apartment or something like that. Somebody pull out the keyboard, you know what I'm saying, and make some little beats or something like that. So it was a lot of freestyle sessions. It was more freestyle sessions early on. And you know what I'm saying, we used to have this little clubhouse in our apartment complex. We had the piano over there. So, it was a lot of beatboxing. It was a lot of just, you know what I'm saying, just organic, just group stuff. We wasn't really in studios like that. We didn't really have access to studios at that time, bro. Like you know what I'm saying, FL Studio and Fruity Loops came a little bit later, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it was like, but like I honestly started going to the studio and being like in the studio environments more so at Michigan State, you know.
Okay.
And, one place that I used to always be in, man, was the Guitar Center. Like
Mhm.
I used to go to the Guitar Center so much, bro, and just
Mhm.
be like, it was almost like, I don't know, man. It was like music heaven in there or something, bro. It was like, and just leave out with like certain, you know, equipment and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
so I actually I made my own studio when we used to have Cherry Lane. Cherry Lane is no longer RP to Cherry Lane, man, but Cherry Lane was our apartments we used to live on at Michigan State. I used to have we used to call it room records, bro. And so it's like I had my own studio, cats come over, record right in the broke closet door. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it would pick it up, go in there, record the booth. Had a little mini 8-track player, and this was around the time, yeah, this is going into my sophomore year actually. You know what I'm saying? And, guys will come over. You know, even some of the players come over. Alan Anderson, he come over and try to rap sometimes. Me and Shannon got a song. My boy Rashid Elko. It was funny because Delco and Rashid Johnson, they ain't really like each other too much. And they actually came over. These dudes came over to rap beef. They end up having a rap beef, but they was rapping over my beats. So it's like, come on over, do it like a real rap beef, bro. So it's just like, they see each other every day, bro, in practice. So it's like, but they decided because we play the music in the locker room, bro. So it's like Delco's rap beef. It was kind of it was comedy, bro. But I made both the beats, so I was right in between the beef. Both of these guys, like my homies. So it's like these were like some unique moments, considering like Room Records was popping, bro. Cherry Lane. I was making music for football players, you know, college students, stuff like that. But you know, I ain't really start getting around some big dogs until a little bit later on, and those experiences was you know, those are memorable too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. So I remember when we first met, I'm not sure the exact year or the exact moment, but I do remember, I believe I went out to LA, and you know, I've always been the type to, I don't mind reaching out to people, you know, like we might not have never met, you know, I knew you had, played in the NBA, you know, developed your name for yourself, develop your status, you know, but I'm like, shit, I'm a Spartan now. So like, I'm gonna reach out. If they don't hit me back, cool. I don't mind, you know, I don't got no ego, I don't got no pride. But you know, you were one of the guys that early on, you know, you reached out and was there for me. You know what I'm saying? I remember I came out to LA and you know, we had a good time out, you know, we got to hang out, go out. And then I remember you had a studio. That's when you had your studio in LA.
Yeah.
And I remember you let me, and you speak on being resourceful. You know, part of being resourceful has been a big part of my journey, as it has been for us all. You know, so for you to offer up, you know, yeah, B, you can stay the night at my studio. Like, you just left me in the studio. I spent the night over there. You know, you went and did your thing. You know, so I know I thanked you for that then, but you know, it's little moments like that, you know, that allows you to piece it all together, you know. So that was definitely a fun experience, you know. At that time, you know, like I said, I had only been a Spartan for a year, you know, so I didn't grow
up
up
fresh out of college, right?
Yeah, I was fresh out of college, you know, and I didn't grow up. I grew up in a small town, you know, so we didn't have those examples that went off into a high level, whether it was the NBA or whether it was being an artist, you know. So, you know, you were one of the first, you know, famous people that engaged with me, you know, and that showed love and that reached back for me and like included me, you know, and showed me a good time, you know. So, you know, those
we went to the W, bro. We was smacked, bro. We was at the W. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
I still got that picture too, bro.
Was that the one you tagged me to? That was the one you tagged me to, right? Or is it a different one?
The one I think I got on like the tank top.
Yeah.
But you still got that one?
No, I remember, bro. We I remember, bro. We was out. We went because we was at like a little. It was a bar. It was like a bar with a pool in it. You know, so we were there. We were there early in the day, like 1, 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And then we get to pulling up, and we there to the nighttime when everybody out at the club, as when it turns into a club. So we the only ones there. Like, I think I had on hoop shorts and a white, like a t-shirt and some flip flops. You know, you had on your tank top and some slim trunks.
So,
You know, so we in the bar in the club in pool attire. You know what I'm saying? And
whole day.
yeah, we was in there all day. I think you left. You know, came back.
Yep.
I was in there
Bro,
wide open.
I'm trying to find this photo right now, dog.
Yeah, I was in there wide open, but yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun,
yeah, yeah.
man.
That was definitely legendary. It's almost like that day felt like 2 days, 3 days. It felt like a whole situation. Like, yo, it was like, yeah, yeah.
Man,
You was one of those homies. I'm like, yo, I feel like I know you forever. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was easy.
yeah, no, that's
We
love.
moved on. You
Yeah,
stepped out the studio. I remember that.
I was in there. Nah, well, I ain't know. I think like I remember like my phone was dead and I don't think the charger was working. So I was like, I remember I woke up. I'm like, I don't know when bro's coming back. I don't know if he's coming back. I'm just here. You know, I'm just in here chilling.
Yeah. Exactly. I gotta show the people this photo, bro.
Yeah, man.
Either way, I'm gonna find it, dog, and send it later.
Nah, yeah. When you find it, send it over to me for sure.
Yeah. No, that was cool, man. That was cool. I definitely remember the W.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. We turned the W out.
Yep. Yep.
Good times,
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna find it
Nah, you good. Yeah, when you find it, though, shoot it to me.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, bro.
Nah, so we talked about the hoop, talked about the business, talked about the music. I want to finish up, I want you to share your experience. We talked a little bit about it earlier, just we're all out here journeying, we're all here on our own time, at our own pace. Some
Facts.
people are in different spaces of their journey than others. You know, I know you can expand and probably talk for hours about this journey of life, as it
Yeah.
pertains to, our self-discovery, our healing journey,
Yeah.
combining that with, being in your purpose, being of service, traveling
Yep.
the world, being inclusive, so I want to hear, your brief perspective, on, you know, how you initiated your journey of your learning curve as an adult, and how that has, translated into your different endeavors and led you to where you are at today. I know you can speak on and on, just like
Yeah.
I could, but just, share what you feel people could use, for some guidance and, for some perspective and insight on that journey as it pertains to yourself.
Yeah. I honestly, bro, I think the main thing at this point in the stage in life more than ever, dog, like is really following our heart. You know what I'm saying? I believe that, even through some of the more challenging moments in life, they were all meant to be. They were all meant to happen. They all made me who I am today. But most importantly, man, it was always my spiritual compass that helped me guide through all of it, man. I think that, we always we may find ourselves in dark moments, but having some type of spiritual system to rely on will help you bridge the gap. You did what I'm saying? I think a lot of people are still struggling because they're looking to change outer circumstances first. Remember at Michigan State, Coach Izzo will tell us inside out first, get the ball in and get side out. And some of my more high percentage shots and the shots that I made at a higher percentage were shots that will go down to Paul, the defense sink in, right back inside. I can step right into my shot, boom. So
That's a
I
great
apply that
analogy
to life.
for life.
Yeah, yeah, everything that you must do, you know what I'm saying? You must, tap in first. I believe that meditation is very important. Having a prayer life is very important. Writing down different ideas is very important. Having a gratitude list is very important, especially when you're not feeling as serviceable. Like there's times in life where you might not feel like, what the hell am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? You might not feel as motivated or inspired. So those are the moments you need to go ahead and pick up the pen and pad and start with 1 or 2 things, 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for. Write those things down, and next thing you know, you got a whole pad full of things. And don't limit yourself on the things that you're grateful for. It can be this pen, it can be a bag of chips, whatever it is that can help you raise your energy and then, tap back into your purpose. But ultimately, I think it's very important that you study yourself, you know what I'm saying? Do research on yourself, study what your name means, study, figure out what your blood type is, figure out what
Your
you can
family, your parents, your grandparents.
use. Yeah. Get your lineage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all of these things are very important. They say, man, know thyself. It's very important on this journey. You're going to have dark moments, like I said, but those dark moments are always meant for you to, navigate your way through and come out on the other side that much more stronger, that much more powerful. I'm not necessarily afraid of depressed moments, because whenever I'm depressed or going through a stage of depression, it pushes me to think, it pushes me to use my mind, and it pushes me to increase whatever it is I'm supposed to, move towards. And it might be moving outside of your comfort zone. You can't be afraid of moving outside of your comfort zone. You can't be afraid of using your imagination. As we get older, sometimes our imagination becomes suppressed. One thing that I'm proud of is the fact that I still have a very vivid imagination. Your imagination can create worlds, it can create future, it can create the now, but it's very important that you continue to stay tapped in on your imagination, because if you're not using your imagination to program yourself, something else is. So it's very important that you stay locked in on the things you need to be doing and how you want to see your life, not based upon anything else. But as long as it's not harmful to anyone else, as long as it's beneficial for yourself, and you're not hurting yourself or any other, it's go for it. You know what I'm saying? Never be afraid to try new things in life, because I believe, when you leave this world, you're gonna be like, dang, did I try everything that I wanted to try? And then you look at it and be like, damn, I just feel like we shouldn't have any regrets, but once again, we should always make sure that we stand close to our heart. You know what I'm saying? Our heart space will always guide you in any given moment, even if you don't get the answers right away. They'll come, you know what I'm saying? Continue to move forward on that and continue to create. You have any ideas, and if you can do those ideas right away, do it. Don't hold off on it. Just do it right away. I love this digital age, because if I have an idea, I can actually bring it to life. Obviously, there's things in life where you need other teams and other parties in order to actually bring things to life. And that's where the patient comes in. And being patient is 100% a very important skill that you must have in order to move forward on any grand idea that you may have. But if it's something that comes to your mind that you can actually, like I had a dream a few weeks ago, right? It was a dream about me creating like a shoe line. And I woke up immediately, I wrote it down. But that dream actually sparked me to designing my clothing line, which I have out now, Ager apparel plug. So I actually, moved on that, you know what I'm saying? And the simple fact that I moved on it, boom, you know what I'm saying? Like I put myself in position in the marketplace to actually, thrive in that way, So don't hold things off, man. Just go now, man. The time is now. This is a very important time to be spiritually locked in. The physical manifestations will come. Take care of your body, and health is wealth. And yeah, man, that's all I got. Now, like I said, I can go all day like that, but
I already know we will. We'll do part 2 one day.
for sure.
But yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. You spoke on before, understanding relatively early the importance of sharing. So for someone who has been following you since we met, I love to see your openness, and your creativity, and your comfort of being yourself, and encouraging others to be themselves, and just continuing to lean into what you want to do. You
Right.
can, it might, like you said, you'll go through different experiences. It's not going to always be smooth, but you got to learn how to go with the flow, and I feel like you've been a testament to that, to the extent that I know of, and I'm sure it gets even deeper and even higher, so definitely much respect towards all that, bro. You not only inspire me, but I'm sure you're inspiring all the kids that you touch on a daily basis. Maybe real quick, just share how people can, I'm sure most people that see this are already connected to you, but just any last words, or
No.
if you want to, plug yourself in or your platforms or just anything to share before we call it a night.
Yeah, call it a night. Yeah, definitely follow me on Instagram, man. Mo Ager, Moeager. And my production, well, my Mo Ager show is Mo Ager Show, Moeager show. That's where my music, I have a lot of skits, vlogs, different funny stuff, clips, you know what I'm saying? It's colorful, you know what I'm saying? That's why I express the color of my consciousness, you know what I'm saying? And then I got the clothing line, Mo Ager Show Apparel. But when you follow me on Instagram on Mo Ager, man, you'll see both of them in my handles. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It won't be hard to find. You know what I'm saying? I got the new album out. I just created a detox cleanser as well called Baby Fat Water. So tap in with me. It's actually a free program. I created a detox blend that I believe that can help people in many different ways. I've helped many people with it. Everyone has a different experience with it. Some people are trying to lose weight. Some people just want to cleanse. But nonetheless, if you want the blend, if you want the recipe, tap in with me on my DM. I shoot that over to you. It's about 4 or 5 different ingredients you have to get. So you have to be responsible. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I created this program to help people clean up their I would say gut. You know what I'm saying? They say our gut is like our second brain. So in order for us to clean ourselves up, man, we got to start somewhere, man. And that's my way of being able to serve as efficiently as I possibly can in something that really matters. Because once your health is clean, you have clean thoughts. Once you have clean thoughts, you can manifest clean. Once you can manifest clean, you'll have a crispy life. So, you got to start somewhere. But man, make sure y'all tap in with me, man. B Wood, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks again, man. And I'm excited to see how far you could take your journey as well, dog.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. And real quick, before we jump off of here, I'm sure most people who see this know and are aware of what we just experienced in East Lansing at Michigan State, yesterday, with the active shooter being there on campus and I believe 3 students' lives being taken. Multiple other people are in critical condition. Obviously it stirred up, our Spartan Nation, and really the region, the state, and the country. And, if you have a heart, the world as a whole, so definitely want to send my condolences to those families and, encourage everyone, all the students and all the teachers and the, university people, who are on campus, want to send my strength and positivity and love to them. If you want to share a couple comments, feel free to, bro.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Condolences to everyone that was affected by this unfortunate event. It's sad to have, it's just a sad situation, man. And I believe that, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to need some type of healing. They're going to need healing going back. I don't know if people are going to feel comfortable going back to school after this. So, prayerfully and hopefully, the children, not the children, but the young adults can get the support that they need moving forward after this tragic event, man. Condolences. And once again, man, I just hope everybody get the help they need and they can, bounce back and, and get through it,
Yeah. Before I got on here, I did see that, and for those of you who have made it this far in the interview, I did just see that Raymar Morgan just posted a clip of a segment of his podcast. I believe it's called Beyond the Big Ten. Him and Travis Walton do the Michigan State part of that platform. So I did see that he posted like a hotline and, some information for students and people who are there in East Lansing who may need some help, so I definitely want to refer everyone to his page, if you do need some, just someone to be there for you, and feel free and feel open to even reach out to myself, and I'm sure Mo would be open as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely reach out to me for whatever, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm always open to help and mentor people. Be the big homie. They call me the OG now. So it's like, it is what it is. So just reach out to the boy and we get through it, man. For sure.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Again, bro, thanks again for taking the time, man. This is my 10th episode, so this is like I said, a
Congratulations.
cool milestone.
Yeah,
Definitely looking forward to continuing to provide the platform for people to share. You know, I know the importance of sharing. I know the release that comes with sharing, you know, every single time, no matter where you're at in your journey. So I know this was good for me, and I hope it was good for you, bro. Thanks
sure.
again. Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the bill, bro. It's always great, bro.
Yeah. Much love, bro.
For sure. I tap in.
Yeah. Yeah.